Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone who's joining us today. We are having this session about the Crossref's new helper tool called the Metadata Manager, or the new Metadata Manager for those who've used the deprecated one. Joining us today, I'll introduce my colleague, Nova. Nova, say hello to everyone. Introduce yourself.
Hi, hello, my name is Nova. I'm a member sports specialist here at Crossref and I am joining from Indonesia. Nice to meet you.
Great. Thank you, Nova. And my name is Johansen Obanda. I'm joining you from Kenya. I'm part of a community team at Crossref. And today we'll be talking about Metadata Manager. To use or to maximize our interaction today, I'd like to bring to your attention these the Zoom features that you might be using already. From the right, you can show captions, for example, if you are trying to if you like to read, or if you'd like to transcribe it, for example, maybe to translate into your language. And I'd encourage everyone to use the Q&A function to ask any questions that you might have as the webinar is continuing, so that we might not miss it. Your questions might get lost in the chat, so please use the Q&A function on your screen to ask any questions that you have as they come up during the presentation. If you'd like to make a reaction as well, you can use the react button. Use the chat function to say hello to everyone, to make comments as you would like to as the meeting continues, even maybe to answer to anyone that you that has asked anything. And I also want to remind us all about the Crossref Code of Conduct, which will be shared in the a link of that will be shared in the chat. We want all of our meetings to be safe, respectful, and productive for everyone. So we ask that you be mindful of our code of conduct. Today, we're going to be talking about Metadata Manager and basically how to deposit your articles metadata with Crossref using Metadata Manager. We're also going to be exploring the advantages of the new tool over other helper tools and how practical steps for making their transition from the previous version, and as well opportunities for hands-on practice using the record registration form and an interactive Q&A. So the before I start, I just want to maybe you can use the react button, or you can say yes in the chat if you've used the Metadata Manager. If you've used the new Metadata Manager before, or please just say yes in the chat, or have a react button and say yes. All right, there isn't any coming in, so I'm assuming that we. All right, great. There's at least one. Okay, not yet. Okay, great. Yeah. So if you've not used the new Metadata Manager, you can say no in the chat. If you've not used the new Metadata Manager, you can say no in the chat, or a thumbs down in the React. Okay, great. All right, great. Okay, great. There's someone still using the web deposit form. All right, great. Okay, great. Then you will find these webinar useful if you're looking at transitioning from the web deposit form into the new Metadata Manager. I'm going to make a live demonstration after some few screenshots. Okay, great. Yeah, so my question was, if you have not used the new Metadata Manager, please say no. If you've used it, say yes. So we have a number of people using the web deposit manager. All right, great. Okay, great. Then this is it. Okay, great. We have some who have used it. Okay, great. Fantastic. And then we have a number who have not used it. So, and then there is someone who's using OJS. So this webinar is going to be useful for you if you don't use the OJS platform PKP. So for example, Reader One Marcus is using OJS that an OJS Crossref plugin that allows for automatic deposits to Crossref, and thereby may not be needing to use the metadata manager. But I'm going to also as well just talk about how you can update your records that maybe you've already registered on OJS if they are missing some metadata elements using the metadata manager. Yeah, so we have different registration methods on my screen down here. You can use our web deposit form. You can use our record registration form. You can upload XML files in the admin tool, or you can send XML files using HTTPS post. But how do you know how to use this? And for today's, for the purpose of today's meeting, I'm just going to be focusing on the second tool here, which is our metadata manager or our record registration form. Yeah, so if you are using OJS, then definitely you would use, if you use the OJS platform, then you need to use the PKP OJS Crossref XML plugin. But if you're not comfortable using XML and you're also not using the OJS platform, then you need to understand as well what kind of records that you're registering. If you're not using OJS and you're not comfortable using XML, then you're registering just journal articles and research grants at the moment, then you can use our metadata manager. And so our metadata manager is for those who are registering just journal articles and research grants, but are not using the OJS platform and are not comfortable writing XML files. And so this is going to be the focus of today's call. So you're welcome if you're already using maybe web deposit form already, or if you are using metadata manager in the past that was already deprecated. If you have an experience with our web deposit form, you will be familiar with the general concept of the new tool because it's also a form. However, this new form has a number of key advantages over the web deposit form because it lets you submit references and affiliations metadata for contributors, including ROR IDs, which are unique person identifiers for research producing organizations. The tool also checks your input to make sure it's valid before submitting, so that any copy and paste errors like missing digits from an ORCID ID are caught early, and that you don't need to have your submission fail because of any kind of errors that might arise from like copy and paste. One of the major issues as well with the metadata manager over the years has been that it takes a lot of time and resources to fix any bugs that appear in it with the old metadata manager. And so the advantages of the metadata or the current metadata manager that we're going to be looking at right now is that it has a solid technical foundation. So we're able to maintain the tool and extend it with additional features. It's also extensible to support additional work types and adapt to future schema changes. It also has the ability to register ROR IDs in both contributor affiliations and funding metadata. And there's no need for title or volume or issue level DOIs. But if you want to retroactively update a lot of records, there are certain elements that you can upload in bulk using our web deposit form, but not with the new tool. So for technical reasons as well, you also can't use these metadata manager for journal articles if you don't have an ISSN for your journal. So you need to have an ISSN to be able to use the metadata manager. If you don't have it, then you can continue using web deposit form, but as well, you can do bulk submissions using this metadata manager. So a few screenshots here will show you how the deprecated metadata manager looked like. You might recognize these few screens here. It moved from a shopping cart to like a one record, one submission, to a deposit history where you couldn't do much with it. And now with the new or the new metadata manager, you can also edit your records. So right now, I just want to share a couple of slides here. You will find in the chat a link to the metadata manager, which is manage.crossref.org. And with that, you will be able to access this login page to be able to use the tool. So it is a tool that you usually would access content registration parts, or that would allow you to be able to submit your content to Crossref. So you would use the same credentials you usually use to be able to access this and to start depositing your metadata or editing metadata that you've submitted with other tools as well. So after you get here, you log in, and then after that, you'll be able to see that you can start registering Metadata Manager. You'll be able to see that you can start registering a journal article or a grant. And then these are a couple screens here. For example, from the advantages of what I shared, things that you will be able to register. For example, you're able to add contributor affiliations from the drop-down list to include ROR IDs, so that your metadata as well, ROR ID or affiliation information that creates better connections, and as well and that as well helps with other elements of research communication. So you can start typing the affiliation of the authors, and through a drop down you'll be able to select the institution, which will also link it to or is already linked with the ROR ID, and that makes your these articles as well associated with that institution through the metadata. And so after that, you can add affiliations by starting to type, and it auto completes, and you select the organization. And if it's the organizational affiliation isn't included as well, you can always suggest to the ROR ROR to add a missing institution. You are also able to add your abstract here, and then you specify the language, and you can add other abstracts as well in different languages. So you can add multiple abstracts by just adding or clicking the add new part here. You can add funding information, and funding information is also so as you know, you may already know that ROR through the ROR ID, you're able to identify affiliations of the authors, but as well funders of that particular research that is that you're registering to Crossref, or that of that research that has led to the output that you're registering to Crossref. So, for example, if you start typing, then you will see a drop down list, and you're able to select the organization that is relevant, or that you would like to add as the funder as well here, and you can add a funder number if it's available. Great. And then you're also encouraged to add a list of references, even if they don't have the DOI links at the end. And the Crossref will attempt to match it with existing records if there are any, and add the relevant DOIs to the end of the citation string or the references. Yeah, so you're encouraged to add all the references over here in the metadata manager on the references section. It's an optional field, but it's highly encouraged so that you also show how your work connects with other metadata or other works as well. Yeah, someone asked if funding is necessary. If it is part of that research, for example, and you have that information, it's important to add it just for the sake of completeness or connectedness of research. And maybe just to tell you about funding information, if provided, helps funders as well to track the impact of the research that they are funding. Even though it's an optional field, it's not mandatory, like your submission won't fail adding it, but a more complete and robust metadata is, then the better it is as well for services that use Crossref metadata to find that piece of work if they're searching it, for example, based on funding or based on funding metadata. We'll take more questions as we go on. I was just wanting to share a few critical parts of the Metadata Manager that you can be aware of and that you can use. Right now, I'll proceed to a live demonstration of this. So if we have this link to new Metadata Manager, and if you start it, somewhere else you can find it is, and I hope you can continue seeing my screen. I'm sharing a different tab. This is a documentation. If you go to our documentation at Crossref, so crossref.org/documentation, you can come to registering and maintaining your records, and then you can go to Metadata Manager. For registering and maintaining your records, and then you can choose the different registration routes, but then you can come here to Metadata Manager. If you come to Metadata Manager, the documentation for Metadata Manager allows you to watch a video which is 8 minutes long that shows you the step-by-step on how to register metadata using the Metadata Manager. Yeah, so welcome. If you come here, then you start the landing page of the Metadata Manager. This will lead to the link that was shared with you just now. So when you I'm logged in currently. Let me see. Okay, great. After I log in, now you will see here that you can select in the home, or over here you can select register record. For a new record, you can choose between a grant and a journal article. And something that I can share with every one of us is that you can register as a member. You can register if you're, for example, a journal or a publisher. You might be registering journal articles over here. If you're from an institution that is as well funding research, you are welcome to register grants as well. And there's a lot of there've been a lot of developments about registering grants at Crossref, which you might find out in a few recent blogs, and as well in the grants or funding section of our website, just to help you to understand anything that you might need to. So you don't have to be a funder only to be able to register grants, but as well some universities, if you're from an institution that is supporting your authors or your researchers with research funding, and you're just registering journal articles, you might as well register grants. You don't have to be a funder or get a new prefix to start registering grants at Crossref. So if your universities are having some grants or that would like to register as well, you can add that as an additional type of content that you'd like to register with Crossref. Great. So I'm gonna use the journal article because there's currently two types of content that you can register with Crossref using the Metadata Manager at the moment. So if I choose journal article, then I go here to continue. So to be able to save time, I'm just gonna go to edit record and choose one here that is already pre-filled so that I don't have to fill all through to the end. So when you start to register a new record, then this is what you're going to see. From the very start up to the very end, you're going to see the article, the journal, and then you're going to review the metadata and submit that. So over here, there's the article title, for example, and then there's the article title DOI that is added here. Then article title landing page, where you find that particular article. You add the contributors over here, and you can add the ORCID ID over here as well. And then, so these will be able to associate the author with this particular article, and then you can add the author's affiliation. So if I start to type, then I can see a drop down of the different organizations here, and then I can add it. Then the role, because this is also supporting the role, and as well, since our schema is being updated to support the credit taxonomies as well. Yeah, so it's important to add. You can add, this is an extra information you can add about how what role particularly this author that you're adding is playing, and then you can add another contributor if you need. Then the abstract, as I already shared, you can add multiple abstracts in different languages. Yeah, you can say this is an English one. You can indicate if it's an English one. And then you can add multiple abstracts as well if you would like to. Then the publication dates, and when it was published online, when it was published in print, if it's existing. So you can be able to add back content as well, and also current content when you're registering metadata here. If it applies to your article, you can add the first page and the article number of ID. If you don't understand or need some clarification on what any of these mean, you can click on this I, and it will show you or explain to you what exactly this element means. You can also add the funding information if there is. So if you click on the funding, for example, here, I can add Welcome Trust. Over here, and then I can add an award number. So you realize that when I added a funder, then it applied the raw information for the funder over here, which is the what role the role that raw actually does. You can also add the license information and the similarity check full text URL. So the similarity check full text URL will be the URL to your particular article, or like how it can be downloaded or found to be able to be compared with the database of other particular articles. Also as well, the article the license URL is also important to add, and then and then you can add relationships. So if these particular article has a preprint, or if this particular article is a preprint of, no, not a preprint of, because you can't register a preprint here, but has another translation, or it's a translation of another, has a version, or is a version of another, is supplemented to, or is supplemented by, it's identical, it has a review, is continued by, or continues another particular article, and then you can add the DOI of the related work that it actually continues or relates to. And this also as well helps to build better connection to your work, which is just very useful for as a publisher, or for the author as well. And I talked about references, that it's important to add new line of reference in when you're adding your references here. So each reference line, or like citation line, should start on a new line to be able to be matched appropriately with other with the actual works that you're referencing. And that helps as well to power the cited by service, which helps people to other members to know which works are citing their own works. Great. After you finish adding all this, then you're going to go to next here. Over here, you're going to select the journals that you previously deposited into. Okay. And then, so for example, if you already have if you're already having some journals, then you're able to quickly select that. Otherwise, you can include, then it will auto-populate some of these, but otherwise you can include the online SSN of the journal. So if you select this one, for example, the chemical, then it will add it over here automatically. Let me see. Let me try go previous and then come forward. Okay, great. Yeah. So you'll find that it will add it will try to auto-populate, but if you don't have this information previously, then you're gonna be adding new ones here. You can also add the abbreviated title of that journal, for example, and then crossmark update policy page if you have a crossmark update policy page that helps to capture any corrections or any changes and significant updates to your articles. And then you can add issue metadata if you have some, like when the issue was published online or published in print. You can add issue number and volume number as well, if that is important for your particular journal. Then after adding the issue level metadata, you are welcome to have a look at the and review if there's anything that you need to change. You're looking at the contributors. Did you add every contributor, for example? Looking at the abstract, did you add all the abstract in the languages that you wanted to, the funding information, the journal? And if you're adding the issue level metadata as well, you're gonna see the metadata you've added here. Then after that, you will click submit. When you're clicking submit, then it shows you if there is an error that has appeared here. It says like, for example, you saw that these particular test article that I used already had some ISSN, and I tried to just toggle and add another ISSN from the dropdown. And it says that it has already been assigned and is owned by a certain publisher. So I'm not able to do this. And then I need to go to documentation to understand that. So I need to change that particular article to be able to use it. And then you'll be able to see there are different error types, and you'll be able to see what is the particular error type that you're having, and then you'll be able to correct it and then try to submit again. And then yeah, so let me go back to let me see. Yeah, let me unsave the changes and then come here again. I'm assuming that we started from the very first page, and then we go to the submit page for this one. I'm going to just add the abstract. I'm going to add just the something in the references here or in the abstract section. Okay, in French. All right, great. I just edited a little bit of the abstract, so let me just submit it without it's depositing the metadata. This is successfully submitted. So this is a test that I'm actually using. So, and you can see that submission is successful because everything looks okay. The ISSN that I was submitting to is the right one that I should submit to, for example. And then they say that the metadata will be updated in the next 24 hours and will be available to the metadata, the Crossref metadata search. And then you can use this link to see any more information, and then you can start a new submission again. So after assuming this was your new article that you wanted to that you are registering, you can as well edit the record here. So you will see all the list of articles that you've registered using this tool or using the all metadata manager or web deposit form as well. You can if you don't see any article that you have registered already and you would like to update it, you can just search by that DOI of that article. And this as well works or with OJS article. So, but then the challenge is that backwards compatibility or compatibility issues, if there are any, then you might be missing. You might miss some articles going back if you update your if you change your articles this way. And someone says like they can't find funding information through OJS, but then if you add that article here and it will ask you, it will give you an alert that this you're trying to update an article that has been registered using a different tool. Are you sure you want to do this? And then you will continue, and then you'll be able to see the different metadata areas that you can update, and then you'll be able even to add the funding information if you like to do that. But then recent versions of OJS support a number of other stuff that users might be finding not possible to register using OJS at the moment. So you're encouraged to update your OJS versions if it's possible for you, but as well seeking support from the OJS PKP forum might be helpful, because it may mean that you might just have not updated a plugin or enabled a plugin or configured it properly to be able to register that kind of metadata to Crossref. Yes, so you can as well, you can usually edit your record anytime. So if you have new information and you're encouraged to do that, you just open here. And if maybe you missed a contributor, you can add a new contributor here and then resubmit your metadata. And that will just update your metadata and make it better and better for everyone else, for the machines using it and also for people. Great. And I want to as well talk about, if you're registering, you can as well register grant information, which will lead you to this particular page where you add your depositor information, the DOI resolution, like the grant DOI, and then the grant landing page URL, and then you add the different award number, and if the date is applicable as well, if there's a project title for this. Otherwise, if there isn't, then you can delete it. And then the awarding amount in currency. These are just other metadata or information that might be useful for anyone who's looking based on that kind of criteria. As well, you add now the number, the funder name as well here. And then the funding type, for example, if it's equipment use or facilities, and the funder ID, which is you will see some drop down that helps you to understand how these ones are registered. Yeah. So over here, after that, you can submit this article. I mean, you can submit this grant information or grant registration. Then you can as well edit it if you need to later, using the same way by editing the record, because it's a grant record. Then I'm going to come, okay, so great. I'm going to come back to, that's going to be the end of it here, how to edit the record and how to submit new records. So what's next about this particular content registration tool is that it is continuously in development, and soon we're going to be, or next, you're going to have books and book chapters as an option to register using the Metadata Manager. You as well will be able to register post-publication updates, conference proceedings, reports, and dissertations if you're registering those at all. And in case you missed it, you can find out more here. And yeah, and Nova will just share this link to the chat so that you can have a look at a past update. Yeah, so to transition or to help you to do this, so everyone who said no and they've not tried, you're welcome to bookmark this, manage.crossref.org/records if you're using metadata. If you're using web deposit form and you're registering journals, for example, and grants, you're welcome to to start using this, and as well be stay up to date, stay in touch for when the new content types that maybe if you're not registering grants, and journals, and it's not possible for you to use this tool, stay tuned for then the subsequent content types that will be updated. As well, you also need to include your ISSN when creating new article records in the record registration form, because you can't be able to do that. And then you also need to find records from the old metadata manager, as well as web deposit form, and then and the metadata manager under edit record. So you can find those things that you've registered already under the edit record part, and you'll be able to improve metadata for them. Yeah. So if you need further help, then you need to read our documentation about that. I just showed you this link to this particular documentation for the metadata manager. You can as well share your feedback on the community forum, and you can as well contact the team directly. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for your audience, and if you have any questions, please share in the Q&A part. And if we're not able to answer any question today, then we will follow up with a question with responses to the requester. But as well, we'll try as much as possible to answer the questions that we can answer during this call. Yeah. Thank you.
Brenda, I'll choose some of the questions in the Q&A box, and also like some other similar questions in the chat room, if that's okay.
Okay.
Sure. The first question from Emmanuel, and also I found the same question from Andrea. Does the journal need to be created before starting to create the first article? And is it possible to submit DOIs in bulk using new Metadata Manager? Also, I'm not sure if I understand this right, but to register articles, I need to fill every article separately, not like in deposit form, where we can fill in whole articles at journal. So basically, this is about like submitting DOIs in bulk. Is that possible?
Yeah. That's not possible. With the new metadata manager, you cannot submit metadata in bulk with the new metadata manager. Yeah, there are a couple functionalities from the web deposit form that are being considered. They might end up with the new metadata manager, or depending on how it is structured, it might not be possible with the new metadata manager. Yeah. And then you need to have the journal information to be able to start registering your journal on the new on the new metadata manager. Which means, for example, if you're a new Crossref member and you have your journal that is existing, because like as a Crossref member, you already are registered, you're already having a journal, and you already have some articles that you are that you're interested in registering metadata for. And so that particular journal, or that particular your organization, or the type, if it's a journal article, for example, your journal title is what you add on that form to be able to complete registering your metadata. So you need to have that information of whatever it is that you're already registering output for. Yeah. Because as well, the journal needs to have the articles need to have a landing page as well. So you need to be sharing the landing pages of that, which might be as a result of having a journal. Yeah.
Right. And this one relates to the edit section in the new Metadata Manager. There are some questions from Rosetta and Amy. They said basically the previous journal issues did not come up in the new Metadata Manager. And am I able to edit previous articles for which metadata was added without this tool? Or do I need to add the journal to this tool before being able to edit the previous articles?
Great. So if the previous articles have been registered using the old metadata manager, web deposit form as well, then they will be able to see it on the drop down. When you go to the edit record section, then you will see the tools, the articles that you've registered using the web deposit form and using the old metadata manager. They will be they will be listed in this kind of fashion. And how to edit it? It will be to click on edit. And if you click on edit, for example, if this was part of a journal that was already registered through the web deposit form or the old metadata manager, you will see it here. And if you want to just update where, if you want to update the journal that you are depositing this into, then you will click on this, and then it will show you the list of journals that you can deposit into. For example, if you're having multiple journals.
Great. And does the same happen with OJS? When we registered journals with OJS, will they appear here as well?
No. So you will, when you go to edit record part, you can edit an article that has been registered using OJS, but you need to add the DOI of that article. When you add the DOI of that article, then you will see, for example, let me see here. This is yeah, this is just this article. So if I go, yeah, that's why I can quickly edit it. If I don't have an example of an article registered using OJS. Maybe if someone wants to volunteer an article, then you will see, though I don't have the rights to edit it, but then you will see that this has been registered using OJS. And are you willing to, would you like to, you will just get an alert. So it's not this, so you cannot, they won't appear here, but you can edit one by one if you like to, by searching by a DOI. Yeah.
All right. Another question from Gloria. For books and book chapters, is the new Metadata Manager going to replace the current web deposit form?
Yeah. So we're encouraging our members to use the new Metadata Manager with the tools that it has, since it's much simpler, and it's also meant to support better future schemas, all the advantages that I mentioned. So if it's much simpler and much suitable to support future schemas and simpler to use, basically, in how it looks as when we add the book and book chapters, we would encourage our members to use and as well share the experience using it, maybe some things that we might improve about it, and see just how it looks like. As we add more content types, we would like our members to participate in testing and in using it as well, and then giving us some feedback. Yeah.
Okay. I find a question from Amy. Does this mean I need to update last year's journal? It's optional, right?
Yeah. You can, if it is if there isn't anything to update about it, you may not have to update. You may not have to update it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. And the next question, where do we make updates for our journals? For example, adding new website address. It should be in the edit record page, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if I'm trying to edit this particular journal, let me see, and then I go to I'm trying to edit this, then I go to the journal portion here. Then this is the title of or the journal ISSN, which is the important thing or important bit about it here. Okay. And then if you're adding any other thing as well, you can add it here. The most important or if you like to add, or if you have like an issue metadata as well, you can add hear the issue and all that information here. But the most important thing for the journals will be the landing page of your particular journal that will be attached to the DOI. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Great. Other questions? Oh, is there any certificate for attending this webinar?
Yeah, we issue certificates as well if you need a certificate. Yeah, so I think what maybe I would give, not everyone needs a certificate for these webinars, so I'm assuming not everyone needs a certificate for this webinar. Would be the best way to write to maybe Nova or myself can add our emails so that you can write if you like a webinar, certificate, but as well, I think Ridwan Marcus can note here so that you can add or get a certificate for that. Yeah. All right. If you
All
need a
right.
certificate, then you will. All right, great. Thank you.
Great. Basically, there are some questions on the content types that we can register with new Metadata Manager. For now, it's only available for journal articles and also grants. If you'd like to register books and book chapters, you need to use either direct deposit by using our admin tool, directly depositing the XML file using our admin tool, or you can also use our web deposit form. All right, I think we answered pretty much all of the questions. We still have time. If you have questions, then feel free to post it in the Q&A box.
Great. As there are no questions, I think everyone is satisfied today. Thank you very much for your audience, everyone. Thank you very
Oh,
much. Now,
Obanda,
okay.
Ridwan is raising hands. Can we accept live question?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, you can allow him to talk. Great.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Hello. Yes. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for your effort and for this webinar. It was very good. I checked good information about it. Actually, I didn't know about it earlier. I'm sorry about sound here because I'm in a public place. Um I would like to say I didn't understand about certification. If there a certification will be available, and also if there this record is recorded, so can we get a copy of it? And thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. There would be a certificate for you, and as well, these webinar will be recorded and sent to every attendee. Great.
All right. Joanna asked, is there any training on how to register books?
Great. Not using this tool. As we add more content types, then we would make that available, and more, as well, like content about that available, and even update our how-to videos or any other supporting documentation. The process should be the same most of the time, or like maybe just a little bit variance based on maybe the different metadata elements that is unique to this particular content type, like books, for example. But then the fashion that I shared with you, the form is, and that's why they will encourage you to use the web deposit form. I mean, the metadata manager, if you're not already using it and you're using maybe the old metadata manager or just the web deposit form, that it is easy to follow for anyone. So it's meant to make it easier for more members to register content. So it should be easier just to follow, to register books and to complete all the metadata elements that are important for the books. Yeah, so when that comes up, then there will be other webinars that you can attend that you can ask any questions if you have any that regarding your attempts to register books. Yeah. Thank you, Joanna.
Okay, one more question in the Q&A box. Could you confirm to me that the email and the password that I use to add the new DOIs in the Crossref database, can it be different from the email and the password that we use on the payment portal or the customer portal?
I didn't understand that. Oh, let me just read it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you understand that?
As far as I can understand, the username and password that you use to submit your record or your content in the metadata manager should be the same with the one that we give to you during your registration. It depends on whether you are using role credentials or user credentials, but it should be the same. Is that clear enough? I hope so. Great. So I don't see more questions.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to end our session today. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And yeah, wish to see you again in future webinars, and wish you a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.